Welcome to Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. I am your host, Coach MJ. I am a serial entrepreneur. I do all the things. I am a keynote speaker. I'm a business coach, a success coach. I am a trainer, an event producer, and I am the host of this amazing podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. And if you are new, please be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you do not miss one of our amazing weekly episodes. So today I am going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. I know I say that a lot, but I talk about the things on this podcast that I love. So that's why I say that a lot. But one of my favorite topics is about marketing. And today I'm going to be talking to a specific audience that is near and dear to my heart, which is that of Black women entrepreneurs. And if you didn't already know, I am a Black woman entrepreneur. And I'm specifically talking to this group because we are often underestimated, our value, our abilities. And so I want to give our businesses the greatest chance for success. There are so many people in the marketplace, so many businesses, so many voices, so many opinions, so many ways of doing things. And it can seem like, and it can actually be true, that we get lost in the shuffle. So this is specifically for my Black female entrepreneurs. However, anybody can take advantage of this information. We're going to be talking about 5 do-it-yourself marketing tips or hacks that will get you noticed without breaking the bank and without requiring a huge team, because that seems to be who you're competing against. I know every time I see a Facebook ad, I used to run Facebook ads myself, and I know how much they cost and how challenging it is to get those dialed in. And I'm like, how much are they spending to get these ads to be dropping into my newsfeed all day long? And what can a person do when they don't have that kind of budget, that kind of team, that kind of ability to write copy and all those things? And so that's what we're going to be talking about. 5 different do-it-yourself marketing tips to help the underestimated entrepreneur get noticed. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And you guys know I love alliteration. So as usual, these are all going to start with the same letters to help you remember them so that you can implement them after you watch this episode. So the first high impact DIY marketing strategy tailored for Black women entrepreneurs that was going to help you to get noticed in this cluttered market space is I want you to frame personalized positioning. Now, these are some long words, but it's not really a long concept, okay? What does it mean to frame a personalized positioning? That means I want you to carve out your unique brand identity, okay? Something that reflects your authentic voice and values. Anybody who knows me knows that one of my core values is authenticity. I believe that you are without peer or competition in the marketplace because you're the only person doing exactly what you're doing. Even if you're doing something very similar to somebody else, the fact that you are a part of what you're doing and not somebody else makes it unique because you're the only you that there is. So your brand identity needs to reflect your authentic voice, what your values are. That's what's going to help you to stand out. Use personal stories, your actual story. It may not be your autobiography, the story of your life, but it's going to be those situations that you have, lived through, what you've gone through. Your unique personal story is going to resonate with your audience, even if they can't completely relate to it, just because they can tell you are being yourself. People are drawn to authenticity. We love a person that's being authentic, even if they're not behaving well, just because we know that what we see is what we get. So use your personal story, use cultural insights. That's a little bit about what I'm doing right now. I am using cultural insights, what I know about being a Black female entrepreneur, because it is my lived experience to speak to other people who are like me to help you to understand that there is a solution for you out there. I'm using cultural insights. What do you know about your culture? It may not be only race related. It could also be the culture of the country that you're living in, or the region that you live in, or just something related to your product or service that touches culture. What are those cultural insights that you can tap into to create a personal or carve out a personal, unique brand identity? And the experiences that can make your brand memorable and relatable. Everything that I do usually centers around some type of event. It usually centers around training, coaching. Why? because those are the types of experiences that I enjoy participating in and that I enjoy creating for others. And this is going to having a unique brand identity. It's going to build loyalty and connection with your audience, which is going to set you apart from the other people who are competing for a similar audience to you. So again, I want you to frame your personalized positioning. What do you uniquely bring to the table that nobody else can bring because they are not you? And focus on that in your marketing. Promise you, it's going to make you stand out. The second DIY marketing tip that's going to help you to stand out and get you noticed is that I want you to focus on powerful platforms. Now, I'm going to be stepping on my own toes with this one, but we often are most, what do they say? You are most, what's the word? You're most qualified to help the person that you used to be, or even the person that you still are sometimes. I want you to choose one or two social media platforms where your audience is most active, and I want you to focus deeply. Go deeply, not widely. Now, I have a presence. I am Coach MJ, and my other business with my daughter, Plant-Based Lifestyle 101. We have a presence on multiple platforms. However, in the early phases with the business with my daughter, because it's a new business, we are figuring out where our audience is best reached. Now, I have been doing I Am Coach MJ stuff for years, like 7-8 years. And so the fact that I still have a presence on all platforms means that I have been challenged with focusing on one or two platforms. I'm actually here. I'm actually on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. There is an Instagram presence. It's not very strong. I don't post over on Instagram very much. So that's not one of them. Then I'm on LinkedIn. Really, the best marketing tip I can give you is to actually be on 1 to 2 platforms, because it keeps you from being spread too thin. It helps you to be more consistent with how you show up because you're not spread so thin, and you actually start to be an expert on those platforms. I know it can seem tempting, and that's where I started out. Tempting to be everywhere. Like if they're not there, they're not there. If they're not there, then they're going to be here. But no, find your audience. They will come find you where you are. Now, there is sometimes a reason to be on multiple platforms, but in the beginning, get really good at, for example, if you have a content that's very picture based, you might want to be on Instagram. If you are doing short form videos, it may make sense for you to do YouTube shorts and TikToks, maybe Facebook Reels. Whatever platform makes the most sense for you, focus on those powerful platforms. You're going to become an expert. Your people are going to know how they can expect you to show up because you are able to be more consistent. Because sometimes the reason why we can't do all the things with our content is because we're like, oh my God, if I make a video, I got to put it in 6 different places. And again, I am guilty of that. I'm not even going to hold you. I am guilty of that. I'm working on it. I know what I should be doing, and I'm telling you to do like that. Don't be everywhere, at least not at first. When you have a team that can put you everywhere, maybe that's appropriate later. But at first, focus on 1 to 2 focused, powerful platforms and dig in there, go deep. The third DIY marketing tip is to foster purposeful partnerships. These are a mouthful, right? I love them though, because it's going to help you remember. Foster purposeful partnerships. What do I mean by that? Remember when I said in the first tip, you don't have competition? I need you to really get that down in your spirit. I don't even talk about competitors, right? I loosely have a thought about competitors in that there are other coaches that talk to people about some of the things I talk to people about and teach about, but I don't think about them as, oh my goodness, I need to get my market share. My market share is sitting there waiting for me. And if I don't show up and do what I'm supposed to do, those people will go unserved by me. Now, they may find someone else, of course, to do whatever they need to, but ultimately, the people that really need me, nobody else can help them the way I can help them. So there's no competition. Remember, I said that. Okay. Collaboration is the C word that you need to be focusing on. Collaborating. I have no problem collaborating with somebody else in the success coaching space, business coaching space, training space, event production space, marketing space. We can do things together. We can go into business together. We can do joint partnerships together. I have no problem with it, because what you bring to the table may be something I'm lacking, or we may have 2 different versions of the same thing. I don't think anything I do can diminish you, and you cannot diminish me. Collaboration is key with other local businesses, influencers, or fellow entrepreneurs who share your target audience. Now, if somebody is directly, there could be some instances where there's like direct competition, like, or maybe there's some kind of a non-compete relationship you have with certain business because of a prior relationship. I'm not talking about that. Just in general, find ways to collaborate with other people. I have a podcast. Well, I have this podcast. I don't compete with other podcasters because my voice is unique. Going back to the first tip, collaboration is the key. Instead of me fighting for this audience and trying to build it by myself, why not share audiences? Right now, I am compiling a collaborative book that's going to be coming out in a few months with a number of Black female entrepreneurs. We're sharing our best how I got started advice. We're all sharing in a little bit towards one great work. When that book comes out, you're going to want to get it. It's going to be a bestseller. But I'm collaborating with those women. I don't compete with them. All of us have a different voice and something different to share. So, do joint ventures, do giveaways, do live events to help broaden your reach organically, and in turn help somebody else to broaden their reach while you are leveraging shared values. I will say, when you are choosing collaborators, make sure y'all share values. I would be less concerned about competing on your product and service as I would be about making sure y'all share the same values, the same work ethic, and those types of alignments. Okay. Nobody else can take away what you have. Be you. Again, frame your personalized positioning. Who are you authentically, and what are your values? And then you can collaborate freely without fear of losing anything. The fourth DIY marketing tip to help your underestimated business to boom, your brand to boom, is to find press and publicity. Find press and publicity. I want you to reach out to local media, other podcasts. Remember, I said we're not competing out here, or online publications that highlight Black entrepreneurs. And again, I'm focusing on Black female entrepreneurs here, but if you are not a Black female entrepreneur and you are hearing this, this can also work for you. But reach out to publications that highlight Black entrepreneurs and women in business. Having a compelling pitch around your unique story or product can earn you valuable exposure and credibility. Okay. Again, going back to that unique story, all this ties in. What is your uniqueness? What makes you different than everybody else? It could be one of the things that makes me different from everybody else, besides my vibrant personality, just the way I think and approach things, the way my mind works. Just something as simple as every time you see me coming, I got a different pair of glasses on. That's just one of my style uniquenesses, right? Has nothing to do with what I talk about, but people know me for that. I walk in the bank. They want to see what pair of glasses I've got on today. Just everywhere I go, they're looking at my glasses. Just because that's something I choose to wear, I like having different kind of glasses on. That's a uniqueness. Everything about you that makes you different, that makes you unique, that people notice about you, or that you just notice about yourself, that is all a part of your unique story. And you need to be leveraging that in the press and publicity. Look for ways that you can get your story out to others. Go on other people's podcasts, write articles in people's, maybe on their blogs or in their magazines, wherever you can go out and get your name out. You never know when that one person or group of people will see something you put out into the world and be like, I got to connect with her more. I've got to connect with him more. And then it's on and popping. Find that press and publicity. Don't wait for things to come to you. Go get it. At the very least, let people that you know what you're looking for. There are so many people who I love dearly, friends of mine, family of mine, who just promote my stuff. They talk my name up here and there, and they'll be like, oh, so-and-so wants to meet you because I told them that you do X, Y, Z. And I'm like, really? So you mean when we're not even talking, you think about me? Your name can be discussed in rooms that you're not even in, and opportunities to have your brand and your message brought forth in front of audiences you never would have got to before can come about. But you've got to go out and put your name out there and let people know what you're doing, in addition to selling your products and services, which is the core of what you're doing. And then finally, the fifth DIY marketing tip is going to get you noticed without breaking the bank. Notice how all these, I haven't said spend any money. Now, I will say before I go on, just as a caveat to what I just said, you're not spending money. I don't want you to be one of those people that thinks everything's going to come free. You want this big 6 or 7 figure business? I'm always going to tell you, you need to invest, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't know where it's going to come from. Get resourceful, get coachable, get creative, and find a way to make it happen. Don't think everything's going to come free. Everybody's not going to sit down with you for weeks at a time and just open up their brain so you can pick their brain for free. You need to invest in coaching. Everything can't. Yes, you can learn a lot on YouTube University, and indeed, you can master things there. But sometimes you need the learning curve to be shortened. You don't have time to learn it all yourself. You need to sit down in a workshop. I'm going to tell you about a workshop here coming up in just a moment. You need to sit down in a workshop and learn it in a few days instead of trying to piece it together over the course of years, so that you don't miss all that time and all those missed opportunities while you're trying to do it yourself. So be willing to invest in yourself. Everything's not going to come free. But these marketing tips are things you can do without spending money. Okay. The fifth one, as you can see on the screen, is to fight for persistent presence. Now, this is the Persistent Purpose Podcast. Say that 3 times in a row. Persistent Purpose Podcast. But I want you to fight for persistent presence. What I mean by fighting, I want you to stay top of mind by creating a simple, consistent content schedule. Something simple that you can do. It's the consistency that makes the algorithms respond. It's the consistency that makes the audience rave about what you're doing, because they know when to show up. There's a young couple that I watch on YouTube. I love their content. I feel like they're my children. It's the Cole and Charisma, Roll with Cole and Charisma. It's an interracial couple whose content I absolutely adore. They show up. Their content shows up every Sunday, and it has for years. And I think they also do Wednesdays. But I know on Sundays when I'm sitting and kind of relaxing and looking for something to watch, I know by a certain time, I think it might be 4 or 5 o'clock, their stuff is going to be there. I wish they could do it every day, but I know it's a lot of work putting these videos together. But I know I can depend on watching them. Successful Mindset Podcast by David Nagel. An absolute gold mine of advice. He shows up on Mondays and Thursdays. The Mel Robbins Podcast. Notice how I'm shouting out my favorite podcast. Mel Robbins Podcast. Again, Monday and Thursday. Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. Mondays. Myron Golden. He shows up on Mondays and Thursdays. You see a theme? Whatever you're doing in your business, I need to happen on Mondays and Thursdays, because a lot of the greats are doing that. But the consistency, people know when they can come and find you. Posting valuable insights, tips, or behind the scene moments in your business, even just 2 or 3 times a week, is going to keep your audience engaged and reinforces your expertise. In my Plant-Based Lifestyle 101 business with my daughter, where we empower people to adopt a plant-based lifestyle, every day we're putting out videos. Every day we're putting out emails and content on our Facebook, in our Facebook group, so people can know that they can depend on it. But even if it wasn't every day, even if it was just twice a week, at least people know when to expect you. Fight for that. Fight for that consistency. Start with once a week. I'm going to do this once a week, whatever it is, and then stick to it. The more you stick to it, the easier it will be to stick to it. And then you can add a little more and a little more. Next thing you look up and you've got a full-fledged, content schedule throughout the week, but it starts out with that one commitment to being persistent with your presence online. So that's going to do it for me. These are stepping stones that you can use without breaking the bank, without having a huge team. These are ways that you can increase your footprint online, get your name, your brand out there, get it seen so people are aware of your products and services, and so that you can create a tribe of raving customers who buy the things that you have for them. And speaking of DIY marketing, I have an upcoming Canva marketing bootcamp, DIY marketing for the busy business owner. It's coming up. I think we've got one starting next week. Go to melaniehunter.com/Canva to register. Let me tell you something. It's going to be 9 lunch and learn sessions. We're just doing from noon to 1, Tuesday to Thursday, 3 weeks in a row. It's a pre-Thanksgiving event, because we know what happens after Thanksgiving. It is Black Friday, and that's usually the kickoff of the holiday shopping season. But even if your product or service is not holiday shopping based, it doesn't matter. You can still take advantage of the fervor and the attention that is going on with the holiday shopping season, and then moving into the new year resolution season, closing out the year with a bang, starting the year on a good foot. All of that is a great marketing opportunity. I want to get you ready for that by having your marketing look like a professional did it, even though a professional has not done it. So we're going to be learning about flyers and websites and infographics and just all of the social media posting and presentation slides, and how to make all of these brand pieces look professional and polished, so it does not look like a kindergartner is working in your marketing. As entrepreneurs, we do wear capes, and we feel like sometimes we're invincible and we can do anything but fail. But even though Canva is an amazing tool that is DIY friendly, it is not dummy proof, and you can butcher some stuff in Canva. I see it all the time. I can tell when people went out in Canva, took a template and butchered it because they don't understand basic design, branding, and marketing principles. So again, MelanieHunter.com/Canva is the way that you're going to get into this amazing marketing lunch and learn workshop. Don't sleep. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. Until next time, continue to pursue your purpose with persistence. Take care. Be blessed.